Hi guys, welcome back to the podcast Business Balls and Banter. We're on episode 3 and we've got our first ever guest who is Dr. Kaly Jaff.
Woo!
So welcome
Woo.
to the podcast, Kaly.
Thanks for having me.
No, thank you so much
excited.
for coming on. Me and Kaly actually met we were both ambassadors for Suited and Booted, and I remember I went in and I didn't really know anybody there, and you all seemed to know each other, and I think you seem to have done quite a few different things together before, and I was like, this is totally out of my world, but you were all like so welcome to me and like made me feel part of your wee crew and stuff. So
It's so weird to hear it from your point of view because I felt exactly the same.
did you? Oh my gosh, I thought you knew like everybody there.
I like knew of Pam and I knew of Jordana, but
okay.
honestly like 5 conversations
Right,
max.
okay.
So then, and I couldn't find the building because it was in the middle of nowhere. And when I turned up, everyone was already getting their makeup done, their hair, and I was like, oh no, this is so awkward. So I felt exactly the same. But
I was so nervous because I'd never done like any photographs or anything before.
And then we were together. We were partnered up
I know,
together.
and that was so good. And you made me feel so comfortable because like, you've got this like calming voice. And I was like, thank you. Like you were asking me all the good questions.
I'm so glad.
You totally do. You should do like voiceovers or something like that for
know.
children's books.
Yeah, like reading books or
man.
something.
I don't know if my husband would agree. I'll keep that in mind.
Kids would, though, the kids would.
Yeah, I do sing to them.
Yeah.
So I just make up the words. I don't know if your mum ever used to do that. My mum would sing like a Tom Jones Delilah, and she'd go, my. She would just make up the words. Yeah, that's what I do to my kids.
Oh, cute.
I make the words up to all songs, to be fair, because I'm just so rubbish at remembering them.
You
And
know
the
the
kids
rhythm
pull
though.
us up, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. The kids are like, that's not the words. And I'm like, that's my words.
Yeah, that's literally my mum.
So just to tell our listeners a wee bit about you, and we obviously done our chat GPT on yourself and
I love that.
learned a lot of really interesting facts about you. So are you able to share that with the audience?
Yeah, I think whenever people ask me where I'm from, what do you do? It's so hard. I'm like, how far do you want me to go back? And this was the same when I was dating. They'd be like, so what do you do? I'm like, oh, I don't. Because my life, I feel like the cat with 9 lives. I've had so many like rebirths. But if you want to go all the way back, I was born in Kurdistan, which is a region in the north of Iraq. As the second Gulf War started, my father is very, very a huge advocate for human rights, and he was an activist. So he spoke a lot. He was really outspoken about what was right for the people and that we shouldn't fight, and that gained a lot of negative traction for Saddam's regime. So we were threatened quite a little bit to leave. Obviously, I don't remember any of this. This is all, as I've grown up, I've asked more questions and then realized like I didn't have a normal or conventional upbringing, which I'm so blessed with. So we left in 1995. We had to flee the country under fake passports, separate cars. My mum, my twin sister, my brother and I in one car, and my dad in another car, in the thought that if we were to get caught, then we're only sacrificing one. And we had to meet in Istanbul 5 days later. At the time, there was no phones or mobiles. It was just, I'll see you in 5 days. We arrived before Dad by a couple of days. And my mom just had to have faith that he was going to turn up, which he did. And then we bought fake passports. I say we, I was 5. I was not involved. We bought fake passports to be able to fly and come to Glasgow. Glasgow is really special for my parents because this is where they met. They both did their bachelor degrees in Kurdistan, and then thankfully both sides of the family had enough money to fund their careers and further education. My mom and dad wanted to do their PhDs in Glasgow University, so they got flown over. They met in the botany building in Glasgow University, graduated, went home, got married, fell in love, had kids. So when they were looking for their home from home, it just made sense. It was Glasgow. Yeah. The flight was Istanbul, Malta, a layover in Malta for a few hours, and then to Glasgow. We landed in Malta safely. We checked into our second flight to come to Glasgow. We were at the boarding gate. We were ready for our plane to come. And an Iranian family landed in the airport with the exact same fake 5 passports.
Oh gosh.
Exact same. So the smugglers have obviously just sold
Oh no.
So many.
the same. So we then got taken into questioning. My mum and dad were separated. They were questioned independently of each other, and both decided to tell the truth. They realized that our lives were at risk to go back. So they weren't able to send us home, but we also didn't have legitimate reasons to further our journey. So we stayed in Malta. We weren't allowed to leave the airport, so we lived in the airport. Like, have you seen Tom Hanks?
Oh, the terminal. I watched
The
that last
terminal.
week.
That was our lives. So we stayed in the airport for 5 days. And I remember being like, why are we not getting on these planes? Like, people were coming and going, and like the airport lights were shutting down. I was still there, and then it was the next day. I was like, when are we getting on this plane? My mum and dad just kept it so casual. They were like, it's the next plane. We've been delayed. It's not nothing to worry about. Like, I did not think I was in danger or anything was abnormal, and that is huge, especially as parents. Like, you guys
so
know what it's like
important.
how do you keep your cool till I sleep and then you can have your meltdown? Because I have a meltdown when there's like no petrol in my car. I'm like, oh my God. And they're like, we have no home and we have 3 kids and I don't know when the next meal's coming from. So eventually the Maltese people got really behind our story. The head of security was a guy called Alphonse Kalki, who I now think of as my Uncle Alfie. He took us under his own wing. We lived with them. We had weekends with them. I went to school in Malta. I had like a whole life there until eventually we got our citizenship, our passports. And Father Kalea, who was the head of immigration, who's no longer with us, said to my mum, you've got your papers, which gives you permission to finish your journey, but also gives you permission to stay. And my mum and dad said, we need to finish this. So came to Glasgow in 1996. I was turning 7. I couldn't speak English. I had no idea what was going on. I thought we were coming on a holiday because I had friends. I was at school.
Yeah.
We were in a homeless shelter here, and we just started all over again. And I think at the time, my mom and dad just just kept it so casual. Like, this is your new school. This is your new uniform. Go to school. And I'd be like, I can't speak the language. I could speak Kurdish and Maltese, and people were learning their 5 times table, and I was just like, I don't even know what the numbers are. So I had to learn to adapt quickly, and I've always had that like chameleon factor. I just wanted to fit in. I just didn't want to stand out anymore. That had a major impact on me in university. I wanted to be blonde and white and slim like all the other girls, and it takes you a while to like embrace where you're from. And then now I just think being different is such a flex.
Yeah.
And I really want to, like, when I have patients coming in because of my job, they're always trying to like tweak some things, and there's a lot of times I'm like, that part of you is such a flex, and I just wish somebody said that to me. Well, my mum did. My mum was like, leave your hair curly and brunette. And I was like, I want to be blonde like everyone else. So yeah, in terms of my personal life, that's a brief history of where I came from. Professionally, I just wanted security. I think I will always chase that because I do have security on paper, but I don't think emotionally I do, because I've had to be plucked and start again and plucked and start again so many times. I'm doing a lot of work to try and like acknowledge that. So when I went into education and career and like choosing my life, I was like, give me something I can do anywhere in the world. And as soon as I graduate, I have a job and I have security. And that landed with dentistry, which I loved. I did it for 10 years. And then that slowly shifted into aesthetic medicine, which it just lights something in me. It's like a drug. It's like art in medical form. And also lets me have that conversation with my patients that are trying to change and find their identity. And sometimes it's a breakup because of what I've been through, I know when it's appropriate to put gloves on and when it's not. And I think that's so important and a lot that we'll talk about on today's podcast, because I would say 20% of the time I'm saying no and we're just having a chat.
Right, okay.
And that's how I build rapport and relationships with my patients that is like lifelong. They're always coming back because they trust me. And I wouldn't be emotionally mature enough if I hadn't gone through what I went through.
Yes.
And then like I'm having this like full circle moment. I'm like, my wise old age.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that, and like from my personal perspective as well. So I went through a stage that I felt like all I was following on Instagram was like certain types of girls that I was seeing, and I was like, that's what I want to look like. And I was feeding my brain with this, and I ended up getting quite a lot of plastic surgery done. Like I had a tummy tuck done just after I had my wee girl, which I shouldn't have get done. Realistically, looking back at that, I should have definitely waited until I'd settled. I've had my boobs in, out, they're out now, but like I've had quite a few things done that I was so young at the time, but I think I was following so much on social media
What are you
that
chasing?
I was like, I was feeding my brain. So when I eventually got them out, like I was like, I need to totally change what I'm following. So I went from following like these girls that were all like Love Island type girls, probably the best way to describe it, to following like fitness girls. I don't even go to the gym though, so I don't. I was following it and still don't go to the gym. But like fitness girls that were small chested or like empowering women, stuff on like Instagram, and trying to change what I was feeding my brain
your values.
with.
Yeah, you need to like inspire your values, and I say this all the time to my clients and my kids. You got to surround yourself with people that have good values, not. She's sexy. And I think all that appeal, the energy, the aura that you are comes with having good values. You know, a lot of these people that are gorgeous on socials, you see them on Love Island or Big Brother, they do a lot of shady stuff. And you're like, I just don't agree with how you're moving though, but you're hot. Whereas, and now I want to follow someone that's normal, achievable, but has incredible integrity and have good values. And
do you think that's a point of getting older as well? Like getting older and really appreciating somebody for being such a good person rather than...
Yeah, because you just get tired of the noise and the
20s
drama.
20s is for the noise and the drama. And I think by the time you get into your 30s, you're like, right, okay, this is who I am now.
Time is so precious, and if I'm going to spend it with people, I want it to be of equal value. But I think unfortunately it is when you're older, but how beautiful is it that we can inspire people to get there faster?
Yeah.
I always think that it's like when you meet somebody, like their aura, they are
energy.
Like always like people. I remember recently having a conversation with you about how like people view me as like confident and outgoing and stuff. When you and I probably both know inside, I'm like, like
an introvert,
what's happening on like that sort of talking negatively to myself. And I think that it's so important that you do like manifest things and like speak nicely to yourself and you're kind to yourself, and that's what people see and that's what's appealing. But
that's what you can only replicate who you are, right?
Yeah.
So if you speak to yourself negatively, if you're like, oh my God, look at me and my titties are small and my skin is this, that's who you will be to others. And like, would you want to be friends with that? I don't want to be friends with that.
No.
So I speak to myself in complete delulu, and I say this all the time: may all your delulus become true lulu. And I'm in the shower.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm in the shower and I'm like, my body's fertile, I'm strong, I moved today, I'm sexy, even if I'm having a bad day. And I will just like, I say it out loud in the shower, and my husband's like, here she goes. Because I want to be the friend that I would like. And if I speak to myself like that, I'm only going to hype you up. But I'm going to, because I don't know how else to be. But it takes you a while to get there, because we are our worst critics. Like we'll be the first to say, I actually don't even want to say it out loud, even for the podcast, because our brain doesn't know what's real and what's fake. So if you say negative things, it lands. So it's so important to like just be delulu until it's true lulu. Well, because it will be true.
I love that saying. But actually, my brother had a brain injury, and I remember when he was like, he had to learn to like walk, talk, eat, like everything again. But one of the things we were talking about was like your neurons in your brain and what you tell yourself and how they connect to each other. So if you keep talking like positive things to yourself, your neurons can like reconnect to like
there's
good
a book
ones.
called You Are Not Your Mind, and it's all about reprogramming your mind and your mindset. It's life-changing. And if it's a lot to do with like insomnia, depression, anxiety. Like the more you feed into those, oh my God, I'm nervous because of the traffic and I'll miss this, and the more actually you just manifest it. Whereas if you just train your brain to be like, So my new thing that I'm doing right now, and you're not going to believe it, is I don't get parking tickets. I just don't get parking tickets. I say that all the time. I'm like, I don't get parking tickets. It's not a thing. Like, I just don't. So I was saying this out loud to somebody I had a meeting with last Thursday, and we stopped off at Byres Road, and he was like, "You're not going to pay?" I was like, "No, I don't get parking tickets." And I'm literally getting a coffee, and then I'm leaving. It'll be 5 minutes. We went, got a coffee, and it came out, and there was a parking ticket on my car. And he was like, "Oh, here we go." And I said, "Nah, it's fine. It's just a fluke. Like, it happens." Anyway, I went to the clinic and I went to pay it, and I took it out, and it wasn't even from my car. It was like a completely different car, different registration. And I took a picture and I sent it to him. I was like, I actually don't get parking tickets. Like, this isn't even for me. Because it's really weird. Like, see, once you unlock that superpower where you truly, and you're not just saying it, you actually trust the universe. She gives it back.
Yeah.
And now I'm just having fun with it. I'm like, I had no disrespect to the universe. I've tested it a few times. Like, I've said things, I'm like, that's not going to happen. And when it does, I'm like, all right, okay, shit, I'm listening. And then I'll do the next thing and the next thing. And it's always whatever you speak into existence will happen. And I truly believe that now. And that's just how I move. So I don't get parking tickets. And I will live in Monaco. I will live in Monaco before I retire. I swear to God, I will.
I pure love that. Like, that is amazing.
Like, I hope she's listening.
What about all your clients? They'll be like, we need to go to Monaco.
Well, come, I'll fly you out.
So with your business, it's a family-run business, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got yours, and your brother's, he got a separate part of a business as well.
So he still does dentistry. So he does dentistry 1 day a week in the West End. And then the rest of the time he's doing aesthetics with me. My sister is the skin therapist there. My mum was front of house. She's kind of just like the muse. My dad, I don't have a role from him, but I don't think he wants to be involved in it anyway. But again, that all comes from trying to create a sense of security for my family. I think it wasn't enough that I had it because I wasn't fulfilled. So then I created roles for my family. Now they have it. I still don't feel like something's missing. So I'm looking for the next
thing
part. And it's all at the base of all of it is security, because I will work myself into burnout. I burn out. I acknowledge it's too much. I calm down. I promise myself it's going to be fine. And then I slowly go up again. And I have gone to see, I would call her a life coach therapist. And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm chasing anymore, because on paper, I have it all. Like, I'm secure. I have a job. I've got a good reputation, but something still drives me to wake up and work 14 to 16 hours a day. And it's that I don't think it will ever go, because lockdown was a big trigger for me, because I felt like it was another version of me being picked up and I'll tell you when you can start again.
Yeah.
And I've had that too many times in my life. So I think I'm just trying to create something that no one can take away. Not the war, not my passport, not anything. And I did a couple of humanitarian trips before I had children, where I worked in refugee camps in Syria, providing dental care. And I'd come back and I said to my dad, it's so weird, Dad, like, these kids have nothing, but they're teaching them like the alphabet, and in English they're teaching them languages. I think it's like a really cute distraction method. My dad said that's not distraction, because people can take away your name, they can take away your residency, your passports, but they will never take away your mind. And that's why I'm always reinvesting in my mind. I'm like, right, they can take my clothes, my house, they can steal my car, but they can't take my brain. And if I just keep reinvesting that will always give me security. I'm just trying to like be that inspiration for others. Like Beyonce said, the best revenge is your paper. Whether that's a graduate degree or some money.
I find it really interesting when you speak about like sort of what is it you're chasing, because I feel like I'm probably like that with every aspect of my life. Maybe not so much like in terms of work, where I'm like really like working all hours like Emma does, or Vikki, or you. But I feel like I'm always chasing something, and I think it's actually really hard inside your own head to go, what is it that I'm chasing? Why am I not happy with anything when like that someone else is looking at your life going, oh, they've got a great life and they've got the nice house and a good family and comfortable jobs and everything else, and I'm kind of like, oh, what's next? I'm not content. What brings you contentment? Like I find that really difficult
Yeah, I think in trying to find what's missing, I'm also very aware that I'm at the same time, ironically, nothing's missing.
Yeah.
I just like the chase, and I would much rather be busy and stressed than completely stagnant.
Yeah.
And I was at a podcast recently, and somebody asked me, like, what do you envy? And I said, people that are happy with 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Like, so what? You just wake up, you work, you go home, and that's it, and you're satisfied.
Yeah.
But equally, my mindset is not made that way.
Yeah.
Like, I like the growth, I like the challenge. I
Yeah.
want to level up. Like I said, I want to test the universe and see what I can achieve. And then when you get that buzz of, oh my God, I did it, what? And you just level up again.
Yeah.
So it's,
I think the chase is a good way to like describe it
Yeah.
actually, because it's like, I probably done it with education for a bit. I was like, well, I'm going to go and do that.
mm-hmm.
And it's
Do it.
maybe not necessarily because I really want to do it. It's mostly to be like, because I know I can.
Mm-hmm.
So then when I done my degree, I was a bit like, I'm going to go and do a master's next. And when I done my degree, I was so stressed because I'm not like a studier. So
yeah, academic.
so I was like, oh gosh, how will this go? But then when I done it, after hating it, I was like, now I'll do a master's. Then I'll do something else. Like,
Yeah.
so it's always like
a
that
challenge.
chase of something. Yeah.
And
like,
I think there's nothing more satisfying than proving yourself wrong. Like, I'm very stubborn. So if the biggest compliment for me is if you underestimate me, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to show you off.
Yeah.
I can't wait to show off.
Yeah.
But equally, like, there's a lot of times I'll doubt myself, and then when I prove myself wrong, I'm like, God damn,
she got
I
it.
do that. I
That's
go
so
into
fun.
competition with myself.
Yeah, and you should.
And I'll make it a competition with myself, like with anything that I do. And I'm like, I'm going to race myself to do this work in like an hour.
Yeah.
And then be like, oh, beat you.
But
Like,
this
and
is
I literally
me.
be like the simplest, stupidest stuff.
It's so important to keep yourself alive, though.
Yeah.
And I'm like that about Christmas. Like, when I get to Christmas, I'm like, I'm going to smash Kaly Jaff last year. I'm going to smash her. I'm going to smash her. And like, Christmas just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, my husband's like, one day you're just going to be Mrs. Claus. This is just ridiculous. And I don't do it for anyone but me.
Yeah.
I want to prove to myself that I can be better. And then I can show my kids that it's not okay to just be stagnant. You got to level up. You have to grow.
I have this debate all the time with myself on, like, I'll be the best at something, and then like I will work like crazy hours. And like me and Marty have had a conversation recently where I'm like putting up, like, we're doing more in marketing, we're bringing in, and Marty's like, but you're just getting to a stage where you're maybe a bit, you've got everything under control and you're content. That contentness scares me.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go.
We're still making just as much money, but I'm like, no, I want to be doing more. But instead of me being like, right, that's me, I can maybe work 9 till 9 instead of 9 till 2 in the morning, like and have like a bit of a normal life. I'm like, no, I don't. I'm feeling too comfortable. I need to push my, and like when will I be content with being comfortable? Like, I just don't know if I ever will.
Yeah, and that's what I've come to realize is that nothing's missing. That's just how my brain functions.
Yeah.
And if you ask me to be content, I'm gonna get bored, and I don't want to know who I am when I'm bored. What if I get lazy, and what if I put on weight, and what if I don't read? I don't want to know her. So I think as soon as you acknowledge that it's a win rather than a con, and you give yourself some grace, then the challenge is exciting. I think it's, and you need to be surrounded by like-minded growth mindset, because if you're with somebody who's fixed mindset, who likes that 9 to 5, you just can't bounce off each other. Like, you don't inspire that. They think you're crazy. They think we're crazy, and I think they're boring. And I wish I knew that when I was dating or like making friends, because as you grow up, you just have less and less people around you, because you realize.
And do you feel like you're ever getting judged as well? Because
100%. I actually put a post up this morning. It was a story. I wrote it out, and then I was going to press post, and I was like, stop. And it was about apologizing for thriving. And I thought, you're gonna trigger people, because you shouldn't have to apologize for thriving. And I don't even want to acknowledge that I am in the small moments. So I like read it and I reworded it, and I said, my gut says no, I'm going to take it off, because people do judge. The biggest thing is when I became a mum, and I don't know if you've heard of generational bonding. So generational bonding is when you just replicate what your mum taught you, and she only replicated what her mum taught her. And it's totally irrespective to the fact that life has changed, though. So my grandma got married when she was 11, and she had 11 children. Like, she had like 8 kids. And then so she then enlisted what motherhood was into my mum. She was a Middle Eastern woman that just had babies. She was a head teacher of a school as well, which was so like abnormal at the time. And she drove a car, which was also so abnormal. Then my mum then had that generational bonding. So then when she became a mum, she just replicated what she knew. Then when I became a mum, she just expected me to replicate what she knew. And I was like, I'm not in the Middle East. I'm not a full-time mum. I have a business. I have an empire. I'm an entrepreneur. I also don't want to be at home like breastfeeding all day, every day. And it was really hard to like break that generational bonding without disrespecting my heritage and acknowledging that I loved how my mum is as a mum, but that's not how I'm going to be as a mum. And almost like rewrite the laws from my daughter Sophia that you can be a mum. I have a 2 and 3-year-old, like they're babies, but I can come out in a mini dress and do a podcast and I can go on holiday and I shouldn't have to apologize for that. And that's what the post was this morning. It was like, I don't want to have a world where my daughter has to apologize for having a baby at home, but also doing her career. It should just be celebrated. Yeah, like why are we not celebrating that? Because people are triggered by it because it shows them their misfortunes or their misfortcomings or their shortcomings. And then, but like me being successful is not taken away from you being successful. You can do it too. And instead of like looking at me and judging or passing negative comment, why don't you just get up and do it too?
And there's so much opportunities, especially in Scotland.
There's place for everyone.
And if somebody wants to go on and like better themselves in any way, whether it is further education or work experience, there is so much opportunities. I think a lot of times it's more to do with they don't want to do it rather than they can't do it.
Just ask. Like their help is always there if you just get comfortable with asking. And I ask a lot. I went to an event on Friday at the AC Marriott Hotel. They were launching the Collectors Hall, which is their new wedding venue. And I was in the bathroom and somebody opened the cubicle door and said, I'm so sorry, sweetheart, can you zip me up? And it was Helen Flanagan. I was like, yeah, of course. So I zipped her up and she was like, your dress is gorgeous. Said, thank you. And we got on really well. We were there for like 5 minutes. Anyway, left. And then the next day she added me on Instagram. So I went to message her to say, it was so nice to meet you yesterday. I hope you had a good time. And I went in and I saw that I had messaged her in 2017. In 2017, I'd messaged her to say, hi, I'm starting out in aesthetics. I would love to look after you if you've ever thought about it. She was living in Glasgow at the time. If you ever thought about it and it would consider me, I would love that. At the time, I would have had maybe 30 followers, but I still believed that I was enough to look after her. That's 2017. 9 years later, I've bumped into her. She's following me, and now we're like potentially discussing it. And I think I wish I could go back to pat myself then and say, well done. Like I didn't think, oh, I was like, who the hell are you? And she's Helen Flanagan. She's got like 2 million followers. I was like, no, I'm good enough. And Delulu until it literally became True Lulu. And you just got to keep repeating that. And I think we're really guilty of pigeonholing ourselves. So we'll say like, oh, who am I? I'm just a financial girl. And my boss told me that if I had tattoos, I would never become anything. So I should probably just be grateful that I have this job and I'll just sit here. No, you decided, oh, you think I'm not going to be something because I have tattoos. Watch me do all my podcasts and my suits with all my tattoos out. That's growth mindset. And that's the kind of mindset I enlist in my children and my friends around me. And I'm like always hyping them up. Like, of course you can do it. Message Beyonce right now. Tell her you'll do her Botox. Do it. Do it right now. I dare you. And I'll dare myself. I'm like, oh, like nobody sees the parts that you miss. They only see the shots that you make.
Day, like we're looking at guests for the podcast, and I actually was like, I had a wee wine in with me fair, and I actually messaged Nicola Sturgeon like just randomly. Like I just was thinking of like
friends with her, like Jenny. But she's a psychic. So literally, like, they get friendly during lockdown.
But I actually
she had no friends during lockdown.
Nobody wanted to be her friend at that point in time. But I would say, like, I'm just sitting and Marty's like, who are you messaging now? And I'm like, Nicola Sturgeon. He's like,
why not? Why not?
But like that is the thing. I would say that like aim high, like on everything, like even business wise for us, like we went for quite a lot of awards that I'm like that. There's no chance we're going to win them, and then we win them, and I'm like, what? Like,
but if you don't enter, there is
Yeah.
no chance you're going to win it. But at least if you entered, and who knows if you entered and didn't get it? No one.
I know.
Nobody sees the shots that you miss. I watched the documentary with Michael Jordan, The Last Dance. Have you seen this?
No.
I don't know if I've
He's a
watched it.
basketball player. Michael Jordan, Space Jam.
I know who Michael Jordan is. I haven't
I've
seen
just not
it.
watched the
So
documentary.
he, in this documentary, he goes up to accept like the trophy, which is like the Premier League of basketball. And he goes up and everyone's like screaming, like he's at the height of his career. And he says one sentence, he says, "This is the result of a 7-year struggle." And then he just leaves.
Oh, I love it.
And in the documentary, it's giving me goosebumps. He says, nobody saw the 10,000 shots that I missed in my mum and dad's garden or the driveway or how many times I fell or buckled my ankle. Nobody sees that. They just see him as the guy that slam dunks. But that's so true to life. Like nobody sees
100%.
what I miss. They only see what I make. So
Yeah,
just
I love that.
give them
Yeah.
something to watch.
Yeah.
You got nothing to lose.
Absolutely.
As long as you're comfortable within yourself, that you're
Yeah.
happy to lose. I never think there's no such thing as failure. It's just redirection. You just need to do that again.
Somebody said to me, and actually it was quite recent because I just started my business in January,
Mhm.
and they said to me, be comfortable being uncomfortable,
Uncomfortable,
because
100%.
that's where that is where when you get and they see the success, exactly like Michael Jordan said, whereas like nobody's seen the before bit. So all of the uncomfortable bits now, I'm like, don't get me wrong, stresses me out. I'm like burnout all the time and whatever else, but I still go, this is teaching me something.
Yeah.
That
And at
that's
least
how-
you're growing.
Yeah.
See how when we done that, the panel for Suited and
Yeah.
Booted, and I honestly, I know I'm doing this podcast, but it's fine because there's like just a few in a room, but I've got like a massive fear of public speaking. And this was in a room, and I was sitting next to you.
You were
and
so
like,
good.
you. I think it was good because you were like, you're hyping me up so much. But I was honestly like, I couldn't breathe. If you actually probably look at the camera, I actually took 2 propanol while I was sitting there in front of everyone, like because my nerves were just so bad. But that being comfortable, being uncomfortable, that is my worst nightmare doing that. But see, once because I done it and I was all right, and I felt after I was like, oh my gosh, I done well there. Like it then gave me confidence to go on, and somebody else asked me to be on a panel, and I went on another panel as a like a
Like a judge.
questionnaire type thing. And then obviously we've done this podcast. I think putting yourself in scenarios, and then especially if it goes well, then you can always reflect back. So I think my issue came with presentations when I was younger. I was like school prefect, and you had to stand up and had to welcome the first years in. And I went to stand up and talk, and I just couldn't speak. Like it was as
Oh
if
my
there was just
God,
nothing.
like stage fright.
And I think since then I must have just kept going back and replaying that in my head. And then what I get told is if you put yourself in scenarios where things go good, then you can start relating to that. So I keep thinking
Reprogram
about
your brain.
like reprogramming the wires. So that day when I was sitting beside you in that panel, and I spoke well, and everyone kept up to it at the end, and they were like, "Oh my goodness, Emma, you've done so well there." Like I think about that now when I start to feel nervous. I'm like, I just
You're
literally
more than
sit,
capable.
like,
yeah,
I
you're
just,
more than capable.
just
But that's
picture myself
another
there.
thing of like, you proved yourself wrong. And that is elating for me. I'm like, don't you ever doubt yourself again like that, Kaly Jaff. I'm like, I won't. And I have that conversation with myself. Like, you'll have an appointment, or maybe you'll have a podcast where you're doing it live, and there'll be a Q&A at the end of it. And there's going to be that prefect in you that's like, oh my God. But the Suited and Booted in you will say, don't you ever doubt me again, because I smashed it last time. And the time after I only took 1 propanol, and now I'm not taking any. And it's just growth. And that's just so exciting for me. I love that. How boring to then just like grow, and then just do this.
I know.
Like, well, you just pay your taxes and die.
Do you think people do that? Like
People do that.
I know, like
definitely.
have
I know
you
people
seen,
that
like,
just are comfortable being
existing.
and having the same money coming in every month, and even if it's not about money, but they've got no ambition to go to the next step. So the next, like I feel like Ross Commercial Finance has got to a stage that it's doing really well, and then straight away I'm like, let's launch a
Next career.
podcast. Like let's, and it's not a fact that we need money from it. Then it's just because I feel like that's going so well that what can I do next to push myself? Like what's out of my
Next
comfort
challenge.
zone?
Yeah,
which
I'm
this
the
is
same.
completely out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. But then this will be amazing. This will become normal. And you're like, oh my God, let's do it again. Then you'll do the next thing. And that is literally the spice of life. I've seen so many little memes. You just seen them on Instagram as well. It's like people, the meaning of being alive is not to exist. Something like that.
Yeah.
And these like robots are just 9 to 5 existing. Have you read George Orwell's 1984?
No.
Oh my God,
I've
guys.
never read a book.
Have you not?
No.
Oh my days. 1984 is about George Orwell wrote a book in 1948 and he imagined what 1984 would look like. And 1984 is what we're living now. People are robots. You don't use your brain. So in the book, people have a device that tracks wherever they go.
Yeah.
They don't use their brains because whenever they need to ask something, they just ask the device and the device tells them.
No.
The government controls that device. They can see, hear, listen to everything that you're
wow.
doing. And it's Big Brother is always watching you. So Big Brother is the government.
Yeah.
And that's where Big Brother came from.
Well, that is so
Um,
true with that though, because even our phones, like
They listen to
literally,
everything.
Like we could sit in an office and we would talk about something, and we'll pick up our phone. And it's like,
Or chat GPT, like people don't think anymore. It's
I
like,
know.
oh, let me just
well, do
see
you know when
that.
we were on holiday there? This is actually how bad I must be for it though, because we were on holiday and my wee girl wasn't well and she had like really bad runs, and she was like, "Mum, I'm just not well." And I was like, "Jessa, I don't really know what to do. Like, I'm trying my hardest." She was like, "Mum, just ask ChatGPT."
Oh no, she just
I
knows.
was actually like, "Oh my goodness."
Okay, I'll be right back.
I was like, "This is how bad my mother is getting it." She's actually telling me ask ChatGPT.
No, it's just help. I think you need to utilize it. It's
Yeah.
a clever
Yeah.
tool to have, but George Orwell's 1984 is what we're living in now,
Wow.
where people don't use their brains anymore, and there's only a very small part of society left that challenges and like breaks the rules and isn't followed by Big Brother, and we don't just wake up, work 9 to 5, pay our taxes and die. We just want more to life, and you need to read it. It's actually quite a depressing book. I read
Can't
it
wait.
on the Stairmaster.
You did not sell that, Cal. You
Can't
just went, you need to
wait.
read
Matt,
it. It's really
that's such a
depressing.
good
It's really
depressing
depressing.
book.
actually.
Wait a minute, what was the other one that you mentioned earlier about your mind?
You are not your brain.
Right,
That's
that
amazing.
sounds more appealing.
And growth mindset is also really good.
I think
Growth
you should write a
versus-
book. Have you
Oh
decided?
my god! I don't know what mine would be. I'd be going from like dating to mindset to business
That's
to
good.
cooking to children. Like there would be no niche. People would, if somebody really wanted to follow me for business advice, there'd be one chapter on that, and the rest of it would just be mumbo jumbo.
I know, but I think that's what's appealing.
That's what we love.
Like real life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's
It'd be
what
the
we
best
love.
selling book. It's going to be the best selling book.
It
Alright,
will
we
be.
put it out
Maybe
there
that's
now.
the next challenge.
It will be every year. We'll be like, "Hey, Kaly, when's the best-selling book coming out?"
So one thing that I was thinking, obviously with your kind of sector that you work in, etc., we get a lot of like dentists, etc., that come to us for finance. So it's a lot of maybe family businesses where the son or daughter was been brought up in the practice and they want to buy the practice or acquire another business, etc. And a lot of them are kind of going into the aesthetics world, whether they're diversifying the dentistry side, etc. But I know that there's a lot just now with regulations. So I've got a lot of clients that are coming to me and saying, Emma, we've been running our clinics for so long, but we don't know if we're going to be able to do it anymore because they're bringing us May 2026. I think all the regulations are coming in. So what does that look like for your world?
So Healthcare Improvement Scotland's been around since 2016. In April 2016, they decided to try and get some more regulations around aesthetic medicine, which I think is so important because up until then it was kind of classified the same as beauty treatments, so getting your hair done, your lashes. But there are real dangers with aesthetic medicine, and I don't mean like a wonky eye or like spocking or heavy brows, something that's temporary. You can cause quite a lot of damage with filler if you block blood vessels. So in 2016, Scotland recognised that and they brought in very light regulations, and that stopped the Botox parties, you know, and people go to people's houses and like Prosecco and Botox. So that stopped that. But in June, the 1st of June this year, 2025, they upped the regulations again, and it's all to do with prescription and who can and can't prescribe. So when you do Botox, it's a prescription drug, and therefore it has to be prescribed by a prescriber. You can only prescribe if you're a dentist, a doctor, or a pharmacist who's done prescription in that sector. So you know what you're prescribing, or a nurse who's also done their prescribing course. Out with that, you are just acquiring it through dodgy forms. But filler wise, you don't have to prescribe it. Filler, you can just buy a stock. But the dissolver of filler is prescription. So if you're in a situation where you're getting filler done and a blood vessel is blocked and you are not with somebody who's able to prescribe the dissolver, you're in big trouble.
So it happened to me. So I went to somewhere and I got my it was the second time I ever get my lips done, and they hit like a
Blood vessel.
and it went in like a hematoma,
Mm.
and it was like so bad. Like I'll share the pictures. It's like my full inside of my lip went like
Purple.
black,
Yeah.
and it was so scary. And then I had to get this. You'll know what it's called,
Hyaluronidase.
Yeah. And oh my goodness,
Dissolve
it was
everything.
agony. Like,
So hyaluronidase, I have a paranoid mess, 25 vials of it in my clinic at all times. To dissolve a little bit for occlusion, you only need one.
Mm.
I have 25 anyway.
Mhm.
And I have had 4 occlusions in my career. Occlusion is when you block a blood vessel completely. But I'm constantly checking for it. After every injection point, I give a little squeeze, make sure the blood flow is okay. And so in all of those 4 scenarios, they were dissolved immediately. I continued the treatment and I've continued the care for those patients. It's not a big deal. But if you have somebody that blocks a blood vessel and doesn't pick it up, the consequences of that are eventually necrosis. So the skin dying off. So you've cut blood flow to that area, it's just going to die off. Severe scarring, potentially skin grafts. The tip of the nose is usually where the blood vessels terminate. So you're seeing a lot of these scary pictures on Instagram where the tip of the nose is all falling off.
My goodness.
That's pretty bad case, but there's a level up from that, which affects your eyesight. You can, if you block a blood vessel and that filler tracks and flows, it can end up at the end of your eyes. So then you have vision impairment. This is real life stuff that people just don't consider. And if you are a practitioner that's doing filler and you don't have the means to have hyaluronidase, but it's a really lucrative career and you're making good money and it's fun and you're like, the chances of that happening are low, you probably also don't discuss that as a risk. You're just like, it's not going to happen. If it does happen, I'll deal with it. But it's very real. And the more you do, the higher the risk. And when it happens, it's not fun. Like I've had 4. I've been in the career since 2011. It's 2025 now. I'm very confident I teach it. But every single time I put my gloves on, I'm like, here we go. It could be any time.
Because when I had it mine drained, the guy that done it told me that he had to have an ambulance on call in case something happened.
So the regulations have changed. There's more evidence around how we deal with occlusions now. The protocols, sorry, not regulations, protocols for occlusions are changing all the time. Back in the day when aesthetics was relatively new, we had like, you needed an oxygen chamber, you needed an ambulance on site.
This was years ago.
You're like
so
prescribing Viagra to like reduce dilate the blood flow, and I'm like, there was so much that you had to do. But now the steps are refining over and over and over, and we're getting a better understanding of how we deal with it. But yeah, the regulations have changed, and it's all to do with who can and can't prescribe. And so if you are getting Botox and fillers in a clinic or salon or somebody's house that's not a doctor, dentist, prescribing nurse, or a prescribing pharmacist, they probably don't have hyaluronidase. Or if they do, they've acquired it through other means, because the only way you can get it in the UK is to have it prescribed. Saying that, I'm constantly getting messages from dodgy websites on Instagram being like, we sell Botox, we sell hyaluronidase, and we'll do it at really cheap rates. So I know that like the black market can get you anything, but and I'm not here to talk about who should and shouldn't do aesthetic medicine, because it's a really controversial area, and people get really caught up about like, I'm better than you, and it's not about that. It's about the safety of the patient.
And safety should be first.
It's number one. And that's how we started this. If I think it's not safe for me to treat that patient, whether it's psychologically, emotionally, or anatomically, I won't do it, even though I'm fully qualified to do so. And that's
even
the
look
part.
at Katie Price now, like,
what's going on?
Like whoever is her surgeon now should, like, somebody needs to step in there and be like, this isn't right. Like,
it's too much.
It's too much. Like, and I think that's where, like, if you have got somebody that's like saying that, even with me and my plastic surgery, when I got all that done, like, I just had Jessa. Like, I probably shouldn't have had it done. I wasn't at the right
Your
frame of mind.
postpartum fog.
Like, I think Jessa was only 6 months, maybe even less than that, when I got a tummy tuck. Like, I shouldn't have got it done. And like, I do think sometimes going and speaking to people, like even when I got my first fillers done, I wanted to go really big, really fast, but I had tiny lips. And like I think that's probably how I got like the bloods like clot, because I think I should have went
overstretching.
really small to start with, but I just wanted to. But like I think having people that are like, no, don't do that, or like, and actually being honest with you, because I think sometimes you can see stuff on social media, or you might have that you're looking at a picture or something saying I want to look like that, but realistically it might not. You might not
You
ever
can't even
get,
achieve it. Yeah, I want to look like J-Lo.
I know, like there's so many people I want to look like.
I know. I really want to look like J-Lo. But it's, I say to my patients all the time, I'm not saying no because I want to rain on your parade. I'm saying no because I don't think it's right for you.
Yeah.
Or it's not safe, or it's not going to give you what you think it's going to give you. It's not going to bring your ex back or make you fall in love with that. And because a lot of the times we're treating emotions. We're not treating
100%.
anatomy. I'm like, somebody will come in and they're stunning, and I'll say, why are you here? Oh my God, I'm such a hot mess. I'm like, what? And then I just already know we're not on the same page. So how am I going to make you happier by putting gloves on? I'm just not. I can give you the best lips in the world. I'm treating a woman just now, and I have been treating her for like 8 years, and we are so close. But her son's not got the results that they anticipated him to get in his exams. He just had the SQA results come out, and so he's not got what they wanted him to go into. And all of a sudden, she's in my diary. She's in the week after. She's in the week after, and I'm like, she's spiraling, and she thinks this is going to make her happy. And so when she came in, I said to her, "I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not putting gloves on today because I know why you're here." And it's sometimes they just need comfort. They don't even know. Have you ever done mindless eating? Where I'm stressed, so I'm just eating. I don't even know what's in my mouth.
It's like I do it all the time.
I just ate all the bag of M&Ms. Like I didn't even taste them.
It's
like,
one extreme or the other for me though. It's literally like I am eating everything, or else I'm not eating.
It's mindless. So mine is peanut M&Ms, and when I'm stressed, happy, excited, scared, I eat the bag, and I'm like, I didn't taste them. That's not fair. I need to eat them again, and I just go.
I have another bag.
Yeah, well, people have mindless aesthetics.
Yeah,
and you almost need somebody to grab the bag and say,
a bit like tattooing as well, though.
Stop. Yeah,
like,
what are you thinking about?
I think tattooing can be the same. Like for like, I think sometimes if I get myself in a bit where I'm feeling like rubbish, or like I go on and I try and search for tattoos that I like the idea of, and I went through a stage. I think I was getting a tattoo done like every like 6 weeks, because I was like, I think it must have been like the exact same thing as that. Like,
crazy.
You're maybe booking yourself in, whether it's to make yourself look better, or for me, I think it's a wee bit, is the word sadistic, but like I
It's
quite
a
like the
distraction.
pain.
Yeah, it's a
like,
distraction.
So like, like the
Are
pain
you doing
was-
recently?
I know I was a wuss last time I got mine.
Yeah, because you're finally healing.
it
You're
must
actually
be that.
growing.
Whereas
Yeah.
before I was like, yeah, just hurt
There
me, I'll
are,
feel
see, if you look
better.
at the psychological studies, there's a direct correlation between tattoos and mental health. Direct correlation. There's this guy that's like covered, he's trying to look like Satan. He's just like,
is he
why?
covered in piercings as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Seen him.
completely covered. Like, that guy is not right. And whoever is doing that to him is not looking after his well-being. And there is a direct correlation. I said to my husband, I think for my 40th, I'm going to get an evil eye tattoo in the back of my ear. I have no tattoos. He was like, you're crazy. You're having midlife crisis. You know, there's a direct correlation. And I was like, come on. But there is like, I've seen the evidence, and I love tattoos. I think tattoos are so sexy. But when it gets to that level where you just is unrecognizable, mindless tattooing, mindless eating, mindless aesthetics.
Do you not think that when, so like your client, because I would rather be that person, like if I came to you and you went, Vikki,
that's enough.
what's going on?
Yeah.
What is going on? Because I'm not putting my gloves on. I'd be like, okay, you see it. And I think like with everything, especially with that, it's like your eyes and ears. Like my friend's my hairdresser, and I go in and she was like, right, so we are face framing, we're doing this and we're doing that. And I was like, oh no, I want to go a bit darker. She was like, no, you're losing yourself in here. So you're going lighter. And I'm like, love that.
But
because we don't
it's
know
so
that.
important.
So it's having that, like
you're just
gonna
being vulnerable or
advice.
you're lost. Or
Yeah.
it's almost, I always say to my patients, I'm your sat nav and it's foggy just now.
Yeah.
You almost can't see, but I
That's a
can
good way.
tell you where you were going. And two things can happen. Sometimes patients get annoyed and they go, you've just wasted my time. I've taken the day off. I've come all the way in and you've not even given me what I wanted. And they go somewhere else and they get what they asked for, realize they don't feel the way that they thought they're going to feel, reflect and realize I was right. And then they come back, and then that's us like married for life. So I always say to myself when they leave, I have like a, that didn't go well. You cannot lose from being honest.
As long as you're doing it for
100%.
good morals, then you should never feel bad for it.
They either go and I've stuck to my integrity, or they go and they'll come back and then we're together for life.
yeah.
But I will never lose by being honest.
Yeah.
And I even acknowledge, I had one girl drive from Aberdeen down to get her nose done. Her nose was perfect. I was like, you're the kind of nose that people are trying to achieve. What are you trying to achieve?
Yeah.
She was like, I just want it to be a little bit smaller. I said, you can't get it any smaller. And we had this like ping pong of me trying to show her that I had her best interest at heart. She was not happy when she left. And I think it was 2 years before I saw her again. And she had done the rounds, gone everywhere, done it, dissolved it, refilled it, dissolved it, come back and realized, like I said, it wasn't her nose. It was her cheeks were flat. And we just did a tiny bit in her cheeks. And like, I know I'll look after her for life.
Yeah.
So just think of anything you could take away is just be honest. Don't be sorry about it.
I think you can go through that roller coaster yourself, because like obviously this year's been a bit of a midlife crisis for me. And
obviously, I think you look great.
And I totally feel like I'm like, oh, when I have my money from the house, I'm going to get my boobs done. And then I'm like, don't be ridiculous, you'll then hate your tummy. Okay, I'll get my tummy done. Don't be ridiculous, then you'll hate your legs. Like, so I say all these things, like Emma listens to it every day, but then I'm like, no, I'll just find something else. But so also, I know it's internal. Like,
I'm also not against plastic surgery, by the way. It's literally my job. I have had my nose done. I had my nose done in 2012. I am not against a tummy tuck. I think lipo where it's appropriate. I am absolutely here for it. I'm not judging anyone that gets it, and I will get it. I just think don't do it irrationally or to feel something that's you're not. It's not right.
Like, 100%. No, I agree, and I don't judge for it, and I definitely feel like at some point I will.
Oh, I will, honey. I'm getting full mommy. I'm getting the Kris Jenner package.
Yeah, I love that. But I'm just like, right now where my headspace is at, like getting my money from the house and buying myself new boobs is not what I need.
No.
Like,
it's what you want, but it's not what you need.
It's
you
definitely internal
just
right
an
now.
hour on the reformer bed in a matcha and you'll be fine.
Oh yeah,
that's my love language now.
I think that is like, even from a business perspective as well, like with the whole like doing the right thing, like even in finance, we'll have even people come to us and they'll want money for like, can I get 300,000 unsecured loan? Because then I'm like, we can get you that, but is that the right thing that you're doing? And like sometimes it's like, even though we could make money off of it, there's so many times that I will like say to a client like, no, this isn't the right for you, or
tonight.
like I don't, like we'd one recently where we got an unsecured loan for a client, the rate was like 30%, and the client's like, yeah, I'll take it, and I'm like, I do not feel comfortable giving you this, it's not the right thing. He's like, yeah, but I really want it, it's only short term. And I'm like, I'm saying I don't think this is good for you, like, and it's so hard because if you're actually saying this isn't good for you, but it's the only thing that I can get, and they're like, I want it, and I'm like, oh,
you almost feel like you're raining on their parade.
I know, but sometimes the right thing is just to say no. Like,
just say that out loud. Like, just address the elephant in the room so there's no confusion when they leave.
Yeah, well, and then I put it all over emails, pure, just so you know, I said this. I do not think you should take this.
Just cover yourself.
I know.
And I think it's hard because we live in a world where everyone's chasing, and some people aren't aware, like us, that we've discussed, that what we're chasing is unachievable, or like for me it's security, or and therefore when I have my mindless outlets, I acknowledge that, and I'm like, put the bags down, Kaly. You shouldn't be walking around Asda with a bag of M&Ms that you've not even paid for. It's so embarrassing. Like, calm down, but have some grace and with yourself and patience, and then like truly do the work, figure out what it is that you're chasing. Why would you take a 30%? It doesn't make any sense. Why would you have your boobs in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out? Like, what? It didn't make you happy the first time. And that's what Einstein's definition of stupidity is, repeating the same thing over and over and expecting something else. And I say that to my patients. Why are we doing this again? Why are we here? I'm not doing it.
See, I like don't know, even myself, so I've got mine out there now, but me and Mark have regular conversations, and he's like, when that he just knows that I'm going to get them back in at one point, because he knows what I'm like. But what'll happen is I'll go on holiday and I'll see all the girls in their nice bikinis, and I'll come back and be like, he'll see me sitting searching, like, and he's like, no, you're about to do it again, like, stop it. But then in real life, I'm like actually fine with it, like, so, but it's just a battle in my head. I'm like, I'll probably just get them done again at one point.
But the girls in their holidays and their nice bikinis are probably looking at you like, oh my God, look at her big blue eyes and she's got jet black hair and her body's unbelievable. Like, and I think I need a tattoo. And they're going home and they're trying to get
You're doing the
tattoos. Like,
same.
we're all doing
Yeah,
it.
it's so true.
We're all doing it. And you need to take a minute to be like, so my titties are small, but it's fine.
Yeah.
And these are all my good values and the qualities that I have, rather than just honing in on what you don't like. Because would you want to be friends with that girl?
I know.
I don't want to be friends with that girl. I want someone who's like, you're a snack. I know I'm a snack.
we need a group chat with you in it, Kaly, as well.
I actually message myself. This is how delulu I am. So are you aware that you can message yourself on WhatsApp and you can even call?
Oh, no.
And I have like conversations with myself. I did it a lot when I was stressed and I needed to hear something from someone else, and like that message was never coming through. Whether it was like, you're worthy, you've had a really awkward conversation with someone and you've left and you're like, oh my God, I was too much. I overshared. I was not funny, or and you need someone to be like, hey, just in case nobody said to you today, you're like my best friend and I love you and you're so funny and I miss you. I started to text myself that. Again, nobody sees that. And I'm so comfortable about it. And I tell my patients all the time, it's really good if you've lost someone, like message them what you wanted to say.
Yeah.
I do it in my notes.
Yeah. So, but you can actually message yourself and it comes through the way that our brain receives messages, where it's on the left, not the right of your WhatsApp chat.
Okay.
And just tell yourself what you needed someone else to tell you. And I remember the first time I did it, I was in the car and I was laughing. I was like, you are losing your mind. But I read it a few times, whatever I needed to hear that day, whether it was I was strong, I was empowering, until I then just believed it. And I believe it because it's true. Like, I'm not faking it. I think I am powerful. I think I am a good role model for my kids. I think I do have good integrity. But you do get lost sometimes and you think, I'm lesser than Richard Branson, God's sake. Yes, he's got jets all over the world.
Yeah.
But for considering where I came from and I couldn't speak English till I was 10, I think I'm not doing that bad.
Yeah, 100%.
That I had a public education and like no help. I think I'm doing okay. That I graduated and opened up my own business and employed all of my family and actually opening up a second location very soon. I think I'm doing okay.
You're doing better than okay, Kaly.
Yeah, like
you're doing
sometimes you
amazing.
but sometimes you need someone to text you that. So I'll just text myself.
Absolutely. No, I love that.
I know.
I'm definitely going to come off this
And
and
you
be
can
like,
save yourself as whatever you want. So I'm saved as the snack.
Oh,
So I'll get a
love
message
it.
like, message
Here's
from the
the
snack.
snack.
I'm like, oh my God, I am a snack. And you can change it.
That's so good. I'm
just
definitely good at
be
that.
your
I
own
know,
girl.
bro. Go to try that
I
now.
know.
And it's not arrogant. It's self-assurance. And if you're not self-assured, how the hell are you going to be assured for anybody else?
yeah.
I think that's really good. Even like within that group when we were at the Suited and Booted time with the ambassador, like I think there was a lot of girls there that obviously had like successful businesses and things, and even just being around them like for like a few days and things, like I thought it was really nice. Even when I won one of the awards, every one of them reached out and was like,
It's
oh my goodness, you're
empowering,
doing
isn't it?
amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they are doing that because they know what it feels like to have put everything aside and make your business your number one priority, and like they understand it,
sacrifice,
and and then they're noticing that you're doing it well, and then giving you the uplift that you need, which is really, really nice.
And it's not the awards, it's the acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Like a rep had come in and seen the awards that I have on the mantelpiece. Like, oh, you should get like a trophy for these and like really show them off. I said, it doesn't mean anything. It's the acknowledgement that I did it. And I actually would, rather than getting up on stage and being uncomfortable and like getting your photos and your shoulders out your ears, and I'm like, I can't even use that photo because I look crazy. It's just somebody saying,
yeah, well done.
by the way, this place is amazing. You smashed it. Done. That's it for me. It's the acknowledgement that all those nights were worth it. The sacrifices, you missed your friend's night out and you cried and your relationship took a tumble. Like, it's that. It's not the awards. It's the pat on the back.
Yeah, definitely.
And just your friends can give you that. You don't.
You mentioned there that there's like a second. Is this still a bit of a secret? Is that like?
It's very much happening. When does this podcast go out?
Next week.
Okay, so we'll just leave it as the second location is coming.
Good.
That's
exciting.
so
But when we're off
exciting.
cameras, I'll tell you.
How,
Yeah, I'm really excited.
how
about
is it? Because obviously you've hired like your full family.
I know there's no members left.
So are you the boss?
I don't like to have a hierarchy in the
Yeah.
secret because I want everyone to feel like they're a team. And I really don't want like my blood family and my
Yeah.
work family to think that there's a difference
Yeah.
at all. So when we have meetings, it's round table. I actually purposely always position myself in the most vulnerable spot. I'm not the top of the table. I'm
Yeah.
always at the side or I'm at the outside to psychologically ensure that my team know that they're my number one. That's my baby. The secret was baby one. Then it was Luca. Then it was Sophia.
Yeah.
And so I would never say I'm the boss or the CEO or I'm the director. I'm the number one shareholder. I am CEO. The buck lies with me. But when we're having meetings and plans, and I almost do it like we're having dinner at family, and I'll say, oh, like, guys, I've got something that I want to share. And I try and keep it that way. I think sometimes it blurs the lines with respect because my brother then sometimes like will speak down to me, and there's a big part of me that says, you better wind your neck in, because if I was a male and your boss, you would speak to me with a bit more respect. But I think that will always be the con of being the friend. And I don't mind taking that hit because the friend gives me so many more benefits. Like I look after my team, so they look after my business. I've been with Gail for 10 years. She was my dental nurse. She came with me and like, I know we'll be there for life. Patrick, again, I look after him so well. He looks after me, my mom, my kids. He's the one that buys flowers for my mom and says, it's Mother's Day, there's flowers going to your mom's house. I've done it. And we're like a unit. So I've ran out of blood family members, but my mind and the business is always open to new family members. Like your friends are your family that you choose.
Yeah.
And then we bring them in, and I've created a culture, and we have values, and we have like the moral code of the secret, and it's like family comes first, and that's us. And if there's any awkwardness, I want you to talk to me about it straight away. No one's ever in trouble. There's always a solution. Like we have these values, and I only want to work with people that align with those values. So I don't have, touch wood, I don't want to jinx it, there is no staff turnover at the secret. When you come in, you're in.
Yeah.
And I want that ethos to be the same with my patients. Once you're in, you're in. I don't do this like one night stand thing where in a relationship, it's a marriage.
Yeah.
And that goes for my family, my friends, the staff, and my patients. And those are the core values of the secret.
And I think that's something that in any business, whether it's aesthetic, whether it's a state agency, whether it's commercial finance or anything like that, that is so important. Because I look at, and what I've seen and what I've experienced is on social media, it looks great and it looks fantastic and everything else. But the reality is I worked in a place where the staff that's there now is none of the same staff, and I only left not so long ago.
Yeah, that's telling.
But on the flip side of that, it's like one of my staff at the moment is off ill, and she had to gone. Like she was off, and that's it. There was no, don't worry, I'll be there on Monday or anything like that. I was like, you need time off. You need time off, and that's it. And everybody else pulled in. So I've got my two friends and everything else coming into it, and I'm like, brilliant, fantastic. But I didn't even need to ask, because the way that I look at it is like, I give them, like, I don't want anybody or hire anybody with estate agency experience. I want a mum that wants to do well, or a dad that wants to do well, that's coming into it and going,
because they have purpose.
You give me, I give you. If you need to go to a sports day, if you need to go and do this, you can go and do that. Because for me, even if I'm in an appointment, my son or my daughter phones in, everybody knows I will answer that phone call.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether I'm talking to you about selling your house. I'll be like, I'm really sorry. I'm going to take this call because they know they can phone me at any point, and this must be an emergency. 9 times out of 10, it's not.
Mum,
it's like, can I have ice cream?
Mum, I'm at the golf course. Can you get me?
Dad asked me to ask you if I can have ice cream. You can have ice cream.
Take deep breaths. She'll be fine. Like, oh, it's hurt herself.
But that's your value. Your value is that you're human.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important, because there's people that are bosses, and it's like, you're at work. This is what we do. This is how it is. There's no...
Put your phone in your locker.
Some of the advice that I was getting recently, because I'm looking to hire, was like, you need people that is not like you. And I'm like, oh, that's got to be a wee bit hard because
I
like
don't know if I agree with that.
no, I don't agree with
Yeah.
it. But that was the people that I see in big corporate positions.
Yeah.
Where a business, like when I talk about like a business being my baby, it is my baby.
Yeah.
Like, and the same side of it where I'm speaking to others who are mega big entrepreneurs and they're like, you need to let go of this trauma. Like if people are, and I'm like, it's not really, it's just a value. If I bring in somebody that I can see something in, then I
And you
want them to
invest in
flourish.
them, they'll invest in you. Yeah.
And they'll give me that back.
What star sign are you?
Virgo.
Yeah, see, this is it. It's like water signs. I'm a Cancer. And that's what you want to do. You're like a nurturer. So as a boss, and I hate using that word, as a leader, you're a nurturer. And so the only way that your business is going to thrive is when you have someone to nurture.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of people you should be looking at when you're doing your interviews. I'm not interviewing to see what your work experience is. I'm like, who are you?
Who you are. That's
What do you do? And
what you
what you
like.
do at your weekends, what are you like with your friends, and like, so I can see like, am I able to nurture them? And I don't mean that in a controlling way. It's more that if I invest in my child in that relationship, like they will then have that loyalty back to me. You look after them, they look after you, and then so that's your value, is you are human and you're a nurturer. And so you've got to look at people that are willing to be nurtured.
Yeah.
If you're going to have somebody that's like, it's my way or the highway, an Aries, for example, it's never going to work.
So any of you two, Aries?
I'm an Aquarius.
Water. Where are you?
I'm Taurus.
Oh God.
Yeah.
You're aligned.
Yeah, they are meant to be like, is that not what Hallie is as well? I'm sure Hallie's a Taurus.
Do you want water? We're all water signs. Cancers are like the biggest nurturers. They're hard on the outside, very soft on the inside. And that is me to a T. I don't know if you guys believe in all the star sign stuff.
No, I do really
I
find
don't.
interesting.
I don't not believe it. I just don't know anything about it.
Oh my God. See, when you fall down the rabbit hole, ask ChatGPT.
So
When you
why
fall
did you
down
oh
that
gosh
rabbit
me as being a Taurus? though?
So the land animals need water, but water doesn't necessarily need you. So the Taurus typically would feed off of our kindness.
Oh, okay.
So if you were ever to date a Taurus, a Cancer and a Taurus would be like a narcissistic relationship, because I would give. I would try and nurture that Taurus, and the Taurus would just be like, I'm just going to keep drinking.
So I'm a water symbol, you're a land symbol. So I'm the nurturer.
You're feeding
and
Take
me.
with a pinch of salt. Yeah.
take-
Like
take-
feed. So you need
I'm
to be with
actually
animals.
not a taker.
Stop.
Oh my.
So you need to be with land animals. So you need to be with like an Aries or who's
This
the
could
ram.
set
don't
you
even
up
know
in
the
the dating
months.
life.
Yeah.
So who would Kelly's perfect
A Taurus.
for a
So
Taurus?
I would go with Aries. Aries are rams. So they're like both animals. As long as you're willing to like let them have the lead. It depends on your dynamic. If you want an alpha male, go with an Aries.
So Kelly's just going through like a divorce now. So
Congratulations. I love that. I love that
Actually,
for
my
you.
husband is like, or ex, is like the nicest man in the world.
Yeah, it really is.
Is he a Cancer?
He is June 20th.
Gemini.
That's Gemini.
Is it Gemini?
well, Marty's the Gemini and he's the 6th of June.
No, he's Cancer. So
Love
I'm
this.
Cancer. My daughter's Cancer. She's 24th of June.
Okay.
He's Cancer.
He
He's
is
a
the
water sign.
nicest, most
He
loyal
is,
person
like,
ever.
honestly,
Yeah, he
the
is.
nicest guy.
But you that was nice. It fed you until you're not thirsty anymore.
oh, that's so. Is that
Oh,
what
it's so
happened?
powerful.
That is actually like.
Goosebumps.
Just not
No.
thirsty anymore. It's done.
Mm,
And I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that you're a taker. That's not what it is. But you're just not aligned. You're not compatible. You got to go with the ram, baby. Go with the ram. He's going to give you the time of your life.
Where's a ram?
I know,
What is, where
let's
are
be
they?
Aries.
Tinder. Can we get a ram?
Yeah.
Any
Aries
rams
is
on
like
you?
April babies.
Mm.
Go for an April and he'll show you time of your
So
life.
that'll be on the apps then. I'll be like, sorry, what star sign are you?
Yeah.
What month were you born? ASL. Remember that?
Age, sex, and location.
Do you remember that?
ASL, like ASL, and like you wouldn't even be like, "Hey, how are you?" Just be like ASL.
I know.
ASL immediately. I would do if the crush was on it, I'd sign out so I'm back in again. Like, bitch better know I'm in the room. You know, when it comes back, I'd be like offline and go back in again.
They're not acknowledging me.
Yeah.
Hello.
No one's acknowledging Kaly, you're an immigrant. I was like curly and like tanned, and
I
I
would
just
really like to
stood
see
out.
a photo of you when you were younger.
I have like 6 pictures of me because when we left, my family didn't
everything
take
left
anything.
behind.
Yeah, so I have like,
Yeah.
it's really weird because my mum will say, "Oh my God, your daughter is your double," and I'm like, "Well, I only have your words to go
Yeah.
off of because I don't have anything to
Oh,
compare."
of course.
And that thing that's really triggering is when you go on hens or like baby showers. They say, bring a baby picture of yourself and we're all going to guess who the baby is. I'm like, my earliest photo, I was like 9 and I was in Malta. That's
So
not
you're
a
like,
baby
so
picture.
thanks for the trauma.
Thanks for the
Thanks
trauma.
for the trauma trigger, sorry.
But now I'm like, I take pictures of my kids every single day.
Yeah.
So that when they go to baby showers, I can be like, what area would you like? But yeah, I don't have any. I've got some of me when I moved here. Maybe like a few in Malta, but that's it. Nothing more. Apparently I look like Sophia. I'll show you her.
And do you still have like an attachment to Malta? Do you still visit?
Yes.
Like, yeah.
And for a long time, when people asked me where I was from, I said Malta. That was the only
I
memories
think
I
you
had.
actually do look quite Maltese.
Yeah, it is.
We've
because
got friends from Malta.
I embrace it.
Yeah.
Because that is part of my heritage. And so if I was on a date with someone, they asked me where I was from, and if I knew it was like short-lived and I couldn't be bothered getting into the depth of my life, I'd say Malta, and I would just play the senorita. I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm Italian. It's so cute. But if I knew there was something in our relationship, like I'd go back. I'd go a wee bit further. I'd be like, okay, I was actually born in Kurdistan. I'm Middle Eastern, but I've
Marty told me I
Mediterranean
wasn't
values.
allowed to like try and say that name because he says I'll get it wrong. Like Kurdistan.
Kurdistan, yeah.
He was like, don't even try and say
No,
that you
say
know,
it.
because he was like, you're going to end up saying it wrong.
We couldn't get the word
Kurdistan.
subscribe out earlier.
I know.
We're like,
Subscribe.
Yeah, like just getting
Subscribe.
tripped over myself.
I love that. You can
Um,
say Kurdistan.
I'll learn it.
Yeah.
It's so funny now because we obviously talk about like what like being nice to your younger self and everything else. Like the minute that I don't know if it was you, Kelly, or it was Michelle, but at the awards I was saying this, where you walked in and I was like, oh my God, she's there. Because I remember during lockdown and like we were all sitting in our office, maybe just after it. And then one of the girls who came up, she was like, oh my God, do you follow Kaly Jaff on Instagram? And I was like, no, who's this? Like, and everything else. She was like, she does profiling, but she doesn't tell you like how much that you need or anything like that. It's like as and when basis. So that's how I knew who you were. And then when I seen you, I was like, oh my God, because you just came in with this like aura round about you and you still have it. Like you feel it even sitting like close to you. And I'm like, this is brilliant.
That means
And
so
you're
much
It must
to
be
me.
because of the universe stuff. Like I think you're like
We're going to do it
attracting
now.
the universe.
Yeah, I want to be magnetic, and I don't mean that in like a sexual way. I want to be magnetic
No,
to
not
good
in a
things.
sexual way and everything else.
And I
Absolutely.
think if I only attract goodness, then I can only give goodness, and why wouldn't you want to be around that?
Yeah.
And in my core, that is genuinely who I am. I just want everyone to win. I want everyone to be safe. I want everyone to be happy. Good memories.
Yeah.
Like that is because that's all I've been given by my mum. Oh no, I'm not going to get upset. I've had every reason to be angry at the world, especially because it's still happening with Israel and Palestine. I have every reason to have hurt in my heart or like be angry or resentful and like that's not fair. They have a clinic because their mommy and dad had money and my mom and dad have nothing, but I just saw it as a flex. Like how nice that I had to work harder for it and I still did it. And I think when you put good out, only good can come.
Yeah.
And therefore I'm just going to be a magnet for goodness. And I say that all the time. My new game that I'm playing with the universe is I don't get parking tickets.
Yeah.
I don't. And I say to myself, I only surround myself with good people. And I only know how to succeed. And sometimes if I don't succeed, it's just like redirection. It's not failure. Nobody ever fails. Like everybody learns to walk. Everybody learns to cycle. Everyone learns eventually. You just need to be patient
Yeah.
and like have some grace.
I need to play that game because I got a parking ticket yesterday.
It's okay. and that's
So
okay.
as of today,
You don't
I
get
don't
parking
get parking
tickets.
tickets,
Yeah.
Kelly.
And you only date Aries
Okay.
and you don't date water signs. You can be friends with water signs, but don't date them.
I love this.
I feel like I need a bit more than just an Aries though.
Well, there's lots of animal signs. My brain just can't think of them.
Right, okay, that's fine. Well, I'll look into that when
Look at the animal signs.
when
So
this is finished.
you don't want to be with like a Scorpio, for example. They sting. But
Oh.
Scorpios and crabs go on really well.
Oh.
Not that I'm dating. I'm
So
not.
what's a Scorpio?
Scorpio, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus,
Oh,
Gemini,
October,
Cancer.
my daughter's a Scorpio,
Yeah.
which actually like see the kind of this like they're very good at like stonewalling and things
Yeah.
like that. She's very good at that.
Oh,
like
that's
she's like
Matthew.
static.
She's just like oh, if we fall out, we'll fall out forever.
Mhm. Yeah, like they cut
Like,
you off.
Uh-huh.
It's game over. It's one strike, you're out. I can't
Oh,
be bothered.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And as our mum, I'm like, please,
Oh god.
Forgive me.
bring me back.
Yeah.
Bring me back in the
I know
circle.
Halle and Jessa, one of them's a Scorpio, one of them's a Taurus, I'm sure, and they hate each other.
It's not going to work. Yeah. it's
Oh
not gonna
well,
work.
what can I bring in the world if you guys are feeding everyone?
So a male Taurus, they're typically like Gaston, like sexy, strong,
Well,
alpha.
that's not male. I'm female.
I know, but I don't know how to do it. For
We'll
the
need
female
Google this
way.
after we.
We've got a lot of chat GPTing to do once this is
Oh
over.
my gosh. I'll be like looking into this and being like, this is me.
Yeah, you're a Taurus.
And this is what I need.
We can do a whole dating episode.
Oh yeah.
You should totally bring them back also on like your
The Tinder
stories.
Tuesdays.
Oh.
No, they are on Tuesday.
Are you
I do.
still
I
doing
try and
them?
do them.
Every
Yeah,
week?
I've been more frequent with them. They're
Yeah.
hilarious. The type of stuff that's going on out there.
But I think that's like the modern world these days.
Ah.
Like, because a couple of my friends are single, and I'm like, right, you don't have time. You need to go on the apps,
But the people are using
and then
fruit
they're like, Vikki,
a lot in the bedroom.
what?
Fruit. What are they doing
Or
with it?
vegetables. So put it in
Vegetables?
things. Putting it in orifices.
Is this
Yeah, but
male or
surely
female?
there's not a lot of fruit you can
Both,
put in
man.
orifices.
What if it fermented?
Well, no, I think it
You'd
comes
be
out.
taking it back out.
Yeah,
Emma. You
you-
wouldn't
you
really
do
do
that.
that.
I just think it's so weird. I'm like,
Ah.
just buy a toy.
Imagine bringing a bit of fruit. You'd be like, sorry, is it not payday?
Sorry,
Like-
I'm not a carrot kind of gal. But this is what people are doing. And some of the stuff that's coming through on Tinder Tuesdays, I can't even reshare because I think that is absolutely wild.
Outrageous.
Uh-huh.
Tell us like one really outrageous one.
Oh my God, the fruit. Okay, I'll tell you about the carrot one. I refer to him as Bugs Bunny. So this girl's had a one night stand with a guy, and they go back to her house and they have like, she thinks all right sex. And then in the morning he gets up a little bit earlier, like leaves her bedroom and she can hear him like rummaging around the kitchen for a little bit. She thinks he's having something to eat, comes back to the bedroom, like lies down for 20 minutes or so and he's like, right, I'm getting out of here, and he leaves. And she's like, thank God, because it was a one night stand and I didn't want him like lurking around. She gets up to then it's Sunday and she wants to make a lentil soup, and she'd gone to the fruit market the day before and had bought these like organic carrots. Organic carrots are huge, by the way. Anyway, she couldn't find them. There's the 3. She couldn't find them. So she messaged him and was like, did you eat the carrots this morning? And he's responded back to her, oh my God. I don't know if you can put this on the podcast.
No, did you put it up?
He said that like he was so unsatisfied with the sex that they had the night before because she refused to peg him, which I had to Google what that meant. And so
gosh,
therefore
no.
he had to like satisfy himself in the morning, and that's all that he could find, and therefore he used them and didn't want to put them back, so he took them away. But I want to know, did he leave with them in situ, or did he take them out, put them in a bag and then leave?
Why did he
I
need
want
3?
to
Uh-huh,
know.
Why did he need 3?
Why not just one?
Why did they not just say, no, I didn't
I
see your
know,
carrots?
I think
That's
that's actually
like-
said it. Like I'd be like, what carrots? And then just pretend like it never happened.
No, he must have just been like, I'm going to play with this girl so she doesn't message me again.
I was so
Oh,
unsatisfied.
well, maybe it's that.
Yeah.
But listen, the carrots were
because
gone.
she would 100% have been going absolute weirdo.
Psycho.
And he's going, winner, she's never going to bother me
Why on
again.
earth would you want that story? Like,
Around you.
Because
I
who
would
cares? Like, maybe they will never bump into each other.
no,
That's such
you
a
would rather
Taurus
just
mindset,
say-
I
You
know.
would rather just
Oh,
say,
gosh.
I would
I
rather
know what
just
you'd wanna
say,
do.
no, I didn't see your carrots and
No.
don't message me again.
Were they
Oh
special
my
carrots?
God. That's
Yeah, they're
I would-
organic.
Were they?
They're organic. They're all like weird shaped and stuff. Anyway, I'll never get over that.
So thanks very much for Kaly for coming on to the podcast today. If you would like to find out where to find Kaly, you can find her on our socials, which are
At Dr. Kaly Jaff on Instagram.
amazing.
Great. It's been so good having you on.
Thanks
So
for having me. I hope you've had as much fun as I have.
if you enjoyed the podcast today, give us a like and subscribe on YouTube.
And if you really liked it, a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Bye.
Bye.
I ain't right, got a bad streak a mile long. Oh, my soul is black as night. What feels right is always